This is a Nekko Media podcast.
What's your pleasure, sir?
Welcome, cinephiles and Cenobites, to the Blood Cave. I'm your host, Annika Pussyfoot, and welcome to Cinebite number 2. For those who are unfamiliar with the Cinebite, these are just single segments taken from our regular episodes. Today we have a special Schrody's Ladder, the wild card segment. Take it away, boys.
Alright, welcome to Cinebite number 2, special Schrody's Ladder segment. Hope everyone is enjoying the month of October so far. I know of some festivities already going on. Just recently, I think there was the annual zombie crawl in downtown Honolulu. Did you ever participate in that?
I've never even heard of that.
The zombie crawl?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they walk around downtown as zombies, and then they meet up at the bar.
That sounds awesome. They like go from bar to bar, like a bar crawl, but as zombies.
Yes.
I didn't think we had anything cool like that in Hawaii.
Yeah, I think it's happened like the last several years.
Wow.
Yeah. Usually Go Jimmy Go would play at the event.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, all right. So sometime...
Because zombies and ska music, obvious pairing.
Oh, yes, right. True. All right, so sometime during the summer, Mox and I put together a list of movies we wanted to share for every day in the month of October. A daily review and recommendation if you haven't seen it yet, all in the spirit of Halloween.
As part of the hashtag 31 Days of Horror or 31 Days of Halloween.
If you participate.
And I hope you do.
Granted, a majority of these are horror, thrillers, and some Halloween-themed movies. So it's a mixed plate of sorts.
Of the 31 picks that we both made, we agreed on 5. So he took 13 to blog on our Tumblr, and I am taking 13 to blog on our Tumblr. And the 5 that we agreed on is what we're cinebiting here for you folks.
Yeah, so the first film is the 1995 full-length screen debut of the Tales from the Crypt series, Demon Knight, directed by Ernest Dickerson, written by Ethan Rafe, Cyrus Forrest, and Mark Bishop, starring Billy Zane, William Sadler, and Jada Pinkett Smith. Okay, so Billy Zane, he's after William Sadler's character because he holds the key, which has the blood of past soldiers who fight Billy Zane. And it also holds the blood of Christ in that too. And so I think that's their only weapon. Mm-hmm. And so he can only get it after it's been emptied out.
Right.
And it's running low at this point.
Yeah.
And so William Sadler comes across this motel in the middle of nowhere.
Like literally nowhere.
Yeah.
This huge building it's like the Hotel California, but in fucking desert before.
Yeah. Okay, so now William Sadler is holed up in this hotel, and he has to kind of fight off Billy Zane with the help of these hotel residents.
Yeah.
Motel residents. So body count...
I got 30, but that's including the demons.
Yeah, I'd say 30.
30?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's about 30. Some of the deaths in this one are pretty bad. Like a punch through the face, like all the way through.
Yeah.
That was probably
totally the grossest.
Yes. And Thomas Hayden Church.
Yeah. Of Wings fame and Sideways.
So, when's the first time you watched this movie?
I actually saw it in theaters opening weekend, probably the Saturday.
Yeah, I saw this twice. Once in theaters and then once at the drive-in, which was a double feature. The other movie was Jungle Book with Jason Scott Lee.
What a weird pairing.
Yeah, Demon Knight and then Jungle Book. It's fantastic, man. Fantastic.
Oh god, you like the Jungle Book too? That old one.
Yeah, that one was good.
We won't even.
But scariest gross scene in this one.
When that little kid, Danny,
Yeah.
he's eating fucking somebody. Right? Does it? And his head comes like huge.
Yeah.
And his mouth just like rips open and has that fucking humongous tongue.
Oh. I really like the part where Thomas Hayden Church, his death scene in that one.
He gets like just swarmed.
Yeah, like
These demons.
You think Billy Zane gives him the sponge, right?
Right. So what that way?
Yeah. And then he goes down. He's like, "Yeah, we're cool." And then like, okay, sure. And he gets eaten up like by like 5 demons. You know, it's pretty gross.
While he's still on the staircase, or does he get to the bottom of the
he
staircase?
gets to the bottom. Like he thinks he's home free.
And then boop.
Yep. Sorry. Oh my god.
Why do these people always think like,
you make a deal with the devil? Sure.
dude, you're gonna get fucked up? I mean,
why do you think this movie needs to be watched?
Because it is just fucking awesome. Billy Zane, he just shines as the demon
He does.
knight.
He shines. He is really a charming dude. Listen to your friend Billy Zane. And William Sadler was awesome.
Yeah. I am just a fan of movies where people are holed up in a place surrounded by monsters, and they kind of have to make a stand, and then eventually, I guess, try to escape. So this is one of the better types of that sub genre of horror.
Yeah, there's some like sacrificial scenes where they kind of like do it for the better of the group. The character of Irene,
yeah.
Yeah,
she actually owns.
She owns the motel.
Yeah. Her and the fat guy sheriff, they like find the male guy's like arsenal in the attic, and it happens to have like one of those string of grenades where all you gotta do is just pull the one lever and it plucks the pins from the whole thing and like takes out all of the fucking demons.
The entire floor. Yeah.
Except for Billy Zane.
Yeah.
Obviously, right?
Right. But yeah, this one, as a Tales from the Crypt movie, like it was a good tale. But then they followed it up with a dud.
Yeah, what the fuck was Bordello of Blood?
That wasn't even. I think that just brought the whole.
I think it did.
Creepy horror or humor of Tales from the Crypt. Like they try to make it funny, I think, but it was just like.
Yeah, Dennis Miller is the main guy.
It wasn't.
I don't know about that.
Good,
I know they did like direct to video another movie, but I didn't bother to watch it after that point.
But no, Demon Knight was fantastic for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, just everyone just hold up and just trying to make it through the night.
Yeah.
The Demon Knight.
Yeah.
Anyway,
moving on.
next movie we agreed on was Saw. 2004, Saw, directed by James Wan, written by him and Leigh Whannell.
Leigh Whannell. Yeah.
Starring
the Dread Pirate Roberts, Carrie Ells,
Dread Pirate Roberts, Leigh Whannell, Danny Glover, and Ken Leung. So Saw, I think it's one of those really like urban legends or stuff that you would read on a chain letter. Like if you woke up in a room, chained up, and with just a saw, and what do you do?
Yeah. These two guys wake up trapped in a room, don't know how they got there, don't know who each other are, and they have these really creepy clues to kind of fill them in on the tasks that they have to do, and just goes from there. So body count, we got what?
It's 5.
5
in there. Bloodiest scene. There are a couple. There are a few. I think not the shotgun part. It was just the thought of it was just.
That was a good one. That was a little overkill. That was like fucking 3 or 4 shotguns that he tripped all at once.
Oh my god! And that's Ken Leung, right?
Yeah.
But then we also get some of the Jigsaw flashbacks.
Yeah.
Those are pretty horrific. So there's more than a handful in this one, and we get a glimpse at Shawnee Smith. In this one too.
As Amanda.
Yep. But yeah, I think probably the more bloodier ones was the shotgun part.
Yep.
Why does this movie have to be seen? Well, it started off in 2004, and it one of the more bigger horror franchises out there for this decade. 5 follow-ups. I think it just started a whole new class. Or
6
genre.
follow-ups.
6 follow-ups.
And now a 7th. Why Saw 8? Come on.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, this one, yeah, it kind of just branched out into
Torture porn.
Yeah, the whole violent aspect of horror. In the second and third ones, it got pretty much overkill on those ones.
It took torture porn mainstream but it has the kind of story and craft to it that most torture porn lacks.
Yeah, this one they got really creative with the storyline, and it became non-linear. It does
they really
mess
play with time. Yeah,
with time, and you get little clues to kind of distinguish what part of the timeline is, with like decomposing bodies, like Leigh Whannell's character in the later films, and then like Donnie Wahlberg's character too. Whew. And I think one of my more favorite ones after the first one would probably be the third Saw film. No.
I think that's when it started getting fucking full blown torture porn.
Oh yeah.
I was stoned at the theater when I saw it, and dude, I could not handle the gore, just because I was stoned.
But then other like this kind of started, I would say, the trend of just violent horror torture genre.
Yeah, well, with the copycats missing the point though, but still making a mint.
Yeah.
And so you must watch this movie.
Just watch the first one.
Yeah, the first one is gory, but you don't get to see the gore happen. A lot of it is implied or aftermath shown.
Do you think Jigsaw kind of is justified in putting these people in these torture scenarios?
Justified, no, but I think he is kind of a savior and kind of a hero,
Kind of an anti-hero?
Yeah, kind of an anti-hero.
In a sense.
He
tried to help Amanda out.
He tries to help people, like, decide, do they want to live? Because right now you're just walking around dead. And even worse, maybe negatively impacting the people around you. So, I mean... But, if that were the case, I could easily wake up in a trap. But it'd be interesting to see, how badly would I want to survive? Would I fucking dig out my eyeball to get the key? I don't know.
I don't know.
Right? I do not know.
All right, next up, we also agreed on Scream. 1996 Scream, starring Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette, Skeet Ulrich, and also Matthew Lillard is in this one. Drew Barrymore made a cameo. Directed by Wes Craven, written by
Kevin Williamson,
yes. Came out in 96. I didn't see this one in theaters, but when it came out, it was just the whole hype of, I guess, a new take on the slasher flick.
Yeah.
By Wes Craven. And it came out with 3 sequels and now a TV show.
Yeah.
Let's see. Did it do anything new? Like, I always reference the Casey Becker character when, like, you think you know a franchise, but really you don't. Like, just the whole, who killed or who was the bad guy.
What was the question? Mother bitch.
Yeah.
It's like, who was the killer?
It was Jason.
In Friday the 13th.
Jason.
No, fuck you. It was Jason. No. It was the mother bitch.
Right. It's like, oh, no, you did not. Clearly, you did not see.
But it's one of those trick questions because without thinking of it, without thinking that he said Friday the 13th, as in that film, I would have just jumped to Jason too. Yeah. But it's one of those obvious answers. Like, when I was standing at the time, I saw a man with 7 wives and 7 times of 7 breads. So how many guys was going to St. Ives? Fuck, 14, 21. No, the answer is 1. Just 1 guy.
Just 1. What about the other people? Standing in the fucking row.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's a paying attention kind of thing.
Or like, a lot of people don't or just have no clue that Rocky lost in the first one.
Really? Is that a big misconception?
I thought he won, but I didn't see I just assumed he was a winner. But I think a lot of people don't remember, or that's
Rocky
why I
loses.
Casey Becker, like, you just assume, or like the whole thing with me, like with Rambo, I didn't know what first blood meant.
Oh, to like draw.
Yeah, and like
first.
And like he just wanted lunch.
First blood.
Yeah, like this guy, he just wanted to see his friend, and like the whole Well, we're not getting into that one right now, but
It's a long road when you're on your own. It's another dope movie that became just full blown action out and stupid.
But yeah, Scream, I guess, try to kind of reboot the slasher flick, right? Because then I know what you did last summer came out.
Again, like with Saw, all these other movies that capitalize on the success of this film missed the fucking point of it. You know, what made it clever is that
Yeah, just
they-
watch Scary Movie and you'll see all the other references.
yeah. Well, that's the unclever way of presenting the slasher flick.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I almost called this Scary Movie. You need to watch Scream.
Body count 9. So brief synopsis though. Brief summary of the movie. Oh, okay. So Nev Campbell's character, Sidney Prescott.
Her mother Maureen was involved in a scandal about a year before.
Yeah, and she was murdered, and who they thought was the murderer allegedly killed her. Is in jail right now. I guess wrongfully accused, or they think, or he's saying he's innocent. He didn't do anything. So, and now we have that introduction of Casey Becker in the beginning. We see her get murdered, and now a series of killings happens throughout this small town, and they pay homage to early 80s horror flicks, and now it's like now they're living in an actual horror movie, basically. So there's this, so basically throughout the movie they're trying to figure out who is doing all these killings. So the bloodiest part for Scream, I think the more kind of insane part is when they take Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard take shots at each other.
Start stabbing themselves.
Yeah.
To like cover up.
And like
cut me too deep.
And Skeet Ulrich gets pissed off and like gives him a couple
Yeah.
extra. Like, oh.
I like when Tatum is killed in the garage.
Rose McGowan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was just. I think they parodied that one in Scary Movie because it's so impractical.
The fat girl, right?
And it's like, how do you do that with a garage door? Yeah, but I mean, yeah, that one was pretty gnarly.
Yeah, that would be my favorite kill of that.
I think I saw this movie first as a rental. Because I saw all the hype. I saw it. Everyone was so, whoa, this movie, you need to watch this.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters, and after hearing the hype, like I didn't see it in the opening weekend or anything, and it still lived up to the hype and then some.
And Wes Craven was the one who directed the rest of the Scream franchise.
Was he?
Yeah.
Even number 4?
Yeah.
Number 4 to me is the second best. Number 2 and 3 you can just get rid of. They're just getting sloppy.
Scream parodies past horror flicks, but not in a funny way, but they incorporate that framework into this one.
It's clever.
And it's kind of almost innocent to kind of reboot just how slasher flicks should be done. There's a bit of mystery in there and motivation behind the killers in there. So it's not just like supernatural stuff like Michael Myers.
Well, I also feel that he tried to ground it in reality like Christopher Nolan did with Batman.
Okay.
Slashers, as real people, would have motives. I know it's scarier when we don't know why they do what they do, but in reality, they're gonna have a motive. Just like Billy Loomis did.
Oh, poor Billy.
Poor Billy, I know.
It's just a broken kid. Right?
Her fucking Nev Campbell's slut mom ruined his fucking life.
Woo.
But he is kind of a mama's boy. Okay. And next?
Next we got The Lost Boys.
The Lost Boys.
Body count 14.
Yup. That's counting the vampires themselves in the Last Stand scene. And of course, the bonfire beach massacre. Damn.
Yeah, Jason Patrick Michael is trying to hold back his hunger. But, he's trying to fight it. But no, this is what you are now, Michael. But he was strong enough to fight that. Because I think you still have to have your first kill. But he didn't.
Right.
But brief synopsis of The Lost Boys. If you haven't seen it. A small family, mother and her 2 sons, relocate to Santa Clara.
The banana slugs.
The murder capital of the world, so they say.
Actually, have you heard of the serial killer Edmund Kemper? He is notorious. He's called the co-ed killer. He killed a bunch of co-eds over there in the 70s.
Oh, wow. In Santa Clara?
Yeah.
Crazy. So
It
they
actually
move
is a
there.
pretty good murder capital.
They move there, and they're coming from a city, from the city. You can tell, and try to make a new life there. They befriend the two kids befriend some of the locals there, but it turns out they're vampires, and now it becomes a survival tale at that point because they don't want to deal with these vampires. Who does really?
Yeah.
But the Lost Boys, they kind of take that same template of the actual Lost Boys from
Peter
Never,
Pan.
Never Neverland. It's supposed to be kind of this parallels with that tale.
Yeah. They'll never age.
They never age.
And they get stuck at such an impetuous, impressionable stage, but now they're powerful. You know, that is how you create tyrants. Power without responsibility.
The movie was released in 1987, directed by Joel Schumacher,
Before he ruined Batman.
written by Jane Fisher, James Jeremias, and Jeffrey Boehm. And it stars, Jason Patric, Corey Haim, Diana West,
Corey Feldman.
Edward Herman, and Bernard Hughes as Grandpa. Yeah. I remember seeing this movie on and off through the years. And then when I finally caught like a real, like the full version, like I think it was like on TNT or TBS. Shout out to TNT and TBS.
Movies for guys who like movies.
Yes. So I get from start to finish, and I'm trying to watch this movie. I'm like, how at the end, how did they get into the house? Like really, like, or how did the head vampire become so powerless to all their gimmicks that they tried to test him with? The reflection, the garlic, the holy water. Well, they didn't use holy water on him, but I think it was the garlic. And then it turns out, he's rendered power.
When you invite a vampire into your home, you are rendered powerless of any way to know or test if he's a vampire.
Yeah, so that's how he got in, and that's how he got the Lost Boys in there too.
Yeah.
It also stars
Jamie Gertz.
Jamie Gertz, who starred with Jason Patric previously in Solar Babies. If you get a chance, check out Solar Babies.
So the most disgusting or scariest scene to you?
Oh yes. I would think.
For me, it's the bath holy water dissolution.
Death by that's not Death by Stereo. Yes, when they got him, or when the dog.
With a nook.
With a nook. Kicked
Or
the vampire.
Nanook, yeah. When Nanook like fucking did like a push and then he fell in. I'm like, you're a vampire. You can't just like levitate from a dog push. But whatever.
Yeah, that was pretty gnarly. The scene I thought was pretty gross. Was while the Frog Brothers went to the nest. during the day.
And Marco, I think, was still hanging upside down.
He was. So they kind of like. That was
And
like
Marco is played by Alex Winters, I think, from Bill and Ted's.
Yeah, he's Bill. Yeah, that one was pretty intense because it gets bloody.
Yeah. Isn't the
really
guts
bloody.
like shooting all on them
Yeah.
and they're like screaming?
Yeah, like
That was like probably their first real vampire kill, right?
it was. I think so. Right. And so yeah, that was probably the bloodiest one I think of that one. All right. Why does
Lost Boys need to be watched?
Yes. It's one of those, like, the Frog Brothers are just really cool vampire killers. They work in a comic book store.
Which is super badass. I've always wanted to own a comic book shop and like live above it and have it like an arsenal of monster killing shit.
But you can think of it as like, because then these vampires are teens, really. And it's kind of like a rebellious phase. And it kind of reflects, kind of metaphor for that. Like, they're out of control. Mm-hmm. And they do need guidance. But, I mean, like, that's why he tries to get with, Jason Patric, or Diane West.
Yeah.
And they do need a mother.
They need a mother. Boys need a mother.
Yeah. And that's why I don't drink wine or blood.
It's just noodles, Michael. It's just rice, Michael.
Just rice, right.
I find it super creepy how they all, were chanting his name. Be like us, Michael. Michael.
Yeah. Or
Let go, Michael.
don't give in to peer pressure. Jump over the ledge and wait for the train. Oh my god, that was an intense scene. That's really.
That was. I just gotta say something really fast. In their lair, there is a huge picture of Jim Morrison of the Doors. Well, when I saw this at 7 years old, I didn't know who Jim Morris was, but I knew who Val Kilmer was from Top Gun. And I'm like, that's cool, I guess. Why do they have a huge portrait of Val Kilmer in their lair? They must be like super fans. And then later on, Val Kilmer went on to portray Jim Morrison in the Doors movie. Yeah, so I thought that was funny. For years, I was thinking, why do they have a portrait of Val Kilmer in their lair?
Man. Yeah, Val Kilmer is the man. Shout out to Val Kilmer.
Iceman.
But other than that, this is one of the more better vampire movies out there.
Yeah.
For sure. Up there with True Blood.
I know, it's hard to... I think it stands alone. It has the right amount of scariness, the right amounts of drama and coming of age and cool factor.
For sure.
Especially as a child or, a young person, they have a lot of characters for you to identify with and kind of fall into the story.
And these are the cool kids.
They're super badass. For me, I would have just told him, Mom, let's just fucking join them. I mean, for Sam, I would have let him grow up a little bit more. What is he, like 14? Let him get to like 18 and then turn him.
Oh, yeah.
Or 17 or, forever 21. Okay, and
up next
one.
we have Hellraiser. Clive Barker's Hellraiser. We have such sights to show you.
That sounded totally like P right there.
1987 Hellraiser.
Another 87 joint.
Yes. Oh, wow.
That's a good year for horror movies. Yeah.
Directed by Clive Barker. Written by Clive Barker. Based on his
novel, The Hellbound Heart.
And it stars Andrew Robinson as Larry, Claire Higgins as Julia, Ashley Lawrence as Kirsty Cotton, and Sean Chapman as Frank. And we got, of course, Cenobite, Pinhead, Doug Bradley. Body count. We have 7 in this one. Brief synopsis. Okay, so it starts off, we are introduced to the puzzle box. Mysterious puzzle box.
The lament configuration.
Yes, and it's actually the key to the doorway to hell to summon these Cenobites. But we get one of its victims living in the house, and it's like he needs more fresh blood to be fully regenerated. So the family moves in, they inherited the house, and
Frank.
So,
yeah, because him and Julia were having an affair while he was still alive before he went off in search of the lament configuration. Anyway, he escapes from hell and takes residence in the attic, and he pleads with Julia to bring him more body so he can regenerate. And so she does. She leads a bunch of hapless men there for him to kill. And so he kills them and gets regenerated. And
the Cenobites are summoned.
Yup. And that's where Kirsty has to get the box and fuck them the fuck off.
Yeah. In a nutshell.
In a nutshell, yeah.
In a nutshell. Scariest, grossest scene. I gotta give it to the part where Larry is just torn apart at the face.
Oh.
What's your pleasure, sir?
Jesus wept.
Yeah. Jesus wept. And then kapoom!
I know, it's like torn apart by the chains. The scariest part to me was when that fucking the thing that has all the weapons and shit and fucking spikes on it is like spinning.
Yeah.
And then flesh is just all over the place and flying. That was the scariest image to me. I mean, fucking, I used to like look over in the corner of my room and be, there's like a little light coming in from the crack of the door, the hallway light. And then I could just kind of see that thing half spinning in that little light, and I was just like fucking creeped out.
So why does this movie need to be seen? Well, it's up there with one of the best horror movies ever. Torture. No, this was. Would you say this was the original torture?
Torture porn? I wouldn't go in that direction. Plus, you know, the real horror nerds will probably bring up a lot of other torture-y movies like Cannibal Holocaust or whatever the fuck.
But I mean, in this movie it represented people who are into pain.
Yeah. You know, thus they look like BDSM motherfuckers, and their whole thing is pain, pleasure, and all of that. Pleasure,
I mean, yeah. You view the pain as pleasure. It's just like, oh, okay, that was a little much.
Mm-hmm. It's a little over a child's head of 7 years old too. And
it's pretty bloody.
It is actually pretty gory.
Like gory for 1987. And of course, one more introduction to one of my iconic figures in horror, Pinhead, and the other Cenobites.
Yep.
What was it? What's her name?
Deep Throat.
Deep Throat.
Who they later just named female Cenobite.
Yeah.
Butterball and the Chatterer.
The
Chatterer is my favorite other than Pinhead.
Yeah. Was it the Chatterer that's a child?
Yeah, the Chatterer is a child.
Well, you don't find out until the second one.
The second one, yeah. I always wish they probed into the history of the Chatterer. I haven't read the Hellbound Heart, so maybe they have it there. But I'm really interested to see how a child ends up in hell. Although I always believe children are the evilest fucks. Because they just don't know any better.
Yeah. Well, that's Hellraiser. That's why you need to go watch it.
Because it's super awesome, super interesting, and super gory.
Super gory. So yeah, that's all the 5 movies we shared in common with our 31 days of horror and reviews recommendations. Please check out the Tumblr, cinephiles-cenobites.tumblr.com for our other reviews this month. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this Cenobite episode. Schrody's Ladder. Peace.
Hope you enjoyed this Cinebite. Check out our regular episodes on iTunes. We have a couple new ones coming up. Until then, have a spooktacular weekend.
This is a Nekko Media podcast.